Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome again to another special interview and another special guest. Joining us today, Mr. Hakim Abderrahim. Hello, sir.
Good afternoon, gents.
Good afternoon, and welcome to our show.
Thank you very much.
So, first of all, Mr. Abderrahim, who is Hakim Abderrahim?
Hakim Abderrahim is a young chap who was born in Algiers, grew up in Tizi Ouzou. Then I carry on my education in Europe, and I start working there. I worked in Italy, and then I went to America, and after I went to Brazil, where I established myself. I worked as a political advisor, and then I worked as a commodity broker. For my own, I opened my own company, and I started as a commodity broker. After a few years, I came back to our country. I started to make some projects. Unfortunately, it wasn't the right time. I went to Britain, and I'm established in Britain since 2011. And in Britain, I started by a translation company. And then I started giving legal advice for embassies, for some members of royal families all over the world. And that's where we start. And I entered in the book industry by meeting some partners. And as I'm a reading lover, I thought that it's a good business because it's joining my passion of reading to the business.
So, as you have mentioned, England. Your company based in England, right?
Yes, so my company is based in London,
yes,
central London, and we aim that in near future we will open a branch locally.
Okay, so talking about early years of this company, when did this company come to existence? I mean, in England, exactly.
We started the business of books just before the pandemic. So the pandemic was a big break for us. Because we wasn't well established, the structure didn't start to work well. During the pandemic, it helped us by staying at home to rethink the strategy and rethink our aims and our targets. I thought, and I deeply thought, and I'm still thinking, that Africa is the future. Starting from our country, when we will democratize the reading in English for all generations, especially the youth one, I think for me it's an achievement. So when I see a child of 7 or 8 years old reading a full book in English, I'm as happy as his parent. I'm a parent myself, so when I see my kid reading, for me it's more than enough. I did my job as a father.
So in terms of culture and public reading, the question is, what drove you to follow this field and to be part of it exactly?
So the main reason I started loving reading with my grandmother. My grandmother was almost illiterate. She stopped education in primary school. She grew up during the war, and it was hard for everyone, for all that generation. But she was keeping me next to her, and she was telling me, read a book. But as all young people, we don't like to read, but she was letting me with her in the kitchen, cooking couscous and cooking all the traditional stuff. And I was with a book in my hands. And she was asking me to read her the book and to explain the story to her in my own words. And she indirectly made me love reading.
Even she was illiterate.
Even she was illiterate. And examples like this, there is plenty of them in our country.
So, out of distribution of books, I mean, do you have any personal works of your own?
Unfortunately, no. I wrote some articles in some newspaper like the Herald Tribune, I think back in 2003, 2002. At that time, I was involved in the art market, and I wrote an article about the implication of the foreign exchange on the art market, the international art market. But it was just personal view and a personal opinion that I gave to the Herald Tribune at the time.
Okay, so the book fair here in Algeria is considered as one of the most substantial annual cultural events in all sectors here. And we can see a lot of people coming here. Do you see this can be as a development here?
It's not just a development. It's a starting point. For us as a British company, even if I'm Algerian, but the company is British, is for us the occasion and the chance to start a real partnership with our own country. The aim is to bring knowledge to the young generation, starting from the young children and carry on to the adults. We saw a lot of young people coming to our stand, Scarlet House. We distribute all the main publishers like Macmillan, like Penguin, Wandsworth. We are very active on the English non-speaking countries, mainly Africans and South American. But for us, it will be the occasion to start a real business in Algeria, to develop the reading in English. We aim in the next quarter to open a printing company in order to print all the international titles locally. This will make the price drop down, because for me, I think it's unfair. I was a student here, and it's unfair for a student to see a book, love it, but cannot afford it. It's a shame. It's a shame for all of us.
Yes.
When I say us, the Algerian people, the people involved in the book industry, and the people who are selling books. What we want is to make the culture and the knowledge accessible. Financially.
Sorry for interrupting you, sir. In terms of knowledge, you have just mentioned knowledge,
Yes.
and in terms of books, what kind of strategies that we can focus on to promote, the culture of public reading here in Algeria?
So I think we should go back to the basics. I come from a generation when the communication was hard in one channel. We all remember that.
Of course, yeah.
But all the messages that we had, we keep them up to date. We remember them. So I really encourage the authorities to carry on in the same system. Like this, to learn to parents that they need to read to their children, to take the time, at least a page, few lines, because the kid, when he is 3 or 4 and he reads with his parent, maybe he's not reading, he's just listening, but he will get the habit of reading, he'll get the habit of having a book between his hands. It's where we need to educate the parents and not the children. When we have this habit in place, the child will read. He will definitely read.
Yes.
Without the assistance of his parents and without the assistance of anyone else, to make him autonomous in his reading.
And reading, we're talking about reading here. Regarding English, we can see youth nowadays are more attracted to English more than ever. Even adults nowadays are stepping up to learn this language. What is the reason? Why?
The reason, there are several reasons, in my humble opinion. The first one, English is an international language. So if you go technical, it will be definitely English. If you go on the medical side, it's definitely English. All the research are published in English. So that is one reason. There is another reason which is political. And this one, I don't want to get involved in that, because I think this is a strategy, a governmental strategy, and I don't have neither the capacity or the right to speak about it. But we are happy about this change of orientation, to change the foreign language into English. And I think it's a way to put Algeria international in order for us to shine. And
especially young writers, English young writers here in Algeria.
I can give you an example. There is a young chap who came to our stand, and he's just 19. He said, I wrote a book in English. Can you publish it for me?
Exactly.
That makes me proud.
Publishing books, sorry for interrupting you again, on the economic perspective, how high inflation and costs have affected the world's book industry, since you are in this industry exactly?
So the idea of printing the books in Algeria came first is to help our people to have an easy financial access to the books. That is the first idea. But we are facing, all the book industry all over the world are facing the rise of price of shipping, the rise of the price of the paper, and the rise of the cost of printing. So I'm not talking specially for Algeria. The issue is international. So some of people say, no, it's just in Algeria. No, no, no. It's all over the world.
Yeah.
We can notice that in Britain. We can notice that in America. We can notice that in Brazil. We can notice that even in Japan, which already the prices are very high. Some editors in Japan absorb the cost of the rise of the paper, but we still have the same issue. If we reduce the price, it will be easy access. So that's what we need now.
So I really appreciate your clarifications, your explanations about the book and public reading and culture of books in general. Before we wrap up, let me thank you so much.
Thanks to you.
Any last words before we wrap up, please?
So I think my last word, I'm encouraging everyone to read on paper, not e-books. Why? Because there is studies that was published from major universities all over the world explaining the techniques of reading. I encourage as well our Ministry of Education to learn these techniques to the teachers in order to pass it to our children, because the brain is a muscle.
Of course,
so
yes.
If we make it work, it will work better. If you read on tablet, your brain will get bored and it will not get into the story, it will not get into the book. There is ways to have quick and fast reading, and that's what makes your brain absorb the information quicker and don't get bored. And this will help all our young generation. And we aim, as a company, Scarlet Letter House, to participate to that. And we hope that we'll be the first ones, among others, to make our country shine and our new generation shine all over the world. That's what we want.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very much.
And today's, dear viewers, that was our special interview again with Mr. Hakim Abderrahim. Thank you so much for watching our special interviews here at the International Book Fair in Algeria. Bye for now.